Are you ready to take to the skies, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved Kyber Empire? We're starting off 2023 talking about the first brand new unit in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the Grand Inquisitors, Scythe. And let me tell you, I think we're starting off 2023 strong. The Scythe, as we're going to be testing out together today, is going to be taking on Profundities and maybe even some Executors. You're only going to find the biggest brain plays here. Our Kyber intelligence found that even the Scimitar is going to be useful to take on some of these big fleets. So enough chit-chat. Hit that like button, strap up, pick one of your favorite ties, and let's take this domination to the skies. Let's do this. But in case you're not familiar with the ship, I want to summarize this in 3 simple ways. Number 1, it needs to be with the Executrix. So much of its big synergy and power capabilities is tied to the Executrix, such as spawning 2 TIE fighters when it's on the field. It only works if there's an Executrix, so likely we're not seeing Chimera be a part of the equation. Number 2, it has a really solid buff dispel, and when it dispels buffs, it gives you stacks of formation per buff dispel. For every stack of formation, you're getting 10% max health and offense and potency, and you get turn meter. That's going to also let you recover health and protection. And thing number 3 you need to know about this ship, it has a fear mechanic. Number 1, predatory instincts. When you're landing a critical hit, you're able to apply fear on the target enemy. You're going to inflict fear on all enemies if you defeat the target enemy. With its reinforcements, you're going to inflict fear on all enemies. However, do know it can be resistant. Now, one thing I want to note before we get in this, yes, I've won many battles slam dunk, but sometimes I don't win, and when I don't win against Profundity, it's because I can't call in a reinforcement. Because with the Scythe starting, you're gonna have a full team of 5, and if no one gets defeated, you can't call in a reinforcement, and when that happens, I lose. So during our testing, I've had to find a way to get someone out of the picture to be able to call in TIE Bomber. And what do you know, inadvertently, I didn't intend for this, but Scimitar seems to have high priority against Profundity, and they always go after Scimitar. So he's just there just to die. And the great thing about it is, otherwise, if he didn't have Scimitar, they're going to go after Scythe, and you don't want that happening. The other thing I tried to do in theory crafting canoe counters is I didn't want to have the TIE Interceptor be a part of it. 1, you might not have the TIE Interceptor. Secondly, it becomes a very expensive fleet if you have to have the TIE Interceptor and Darth Vader. So the good thing is, this works against Profundity very consistently. You don't need a full reinforcement, and it saves you Darth Vader, TIE Interceptor to use with the Chimera, and you can still form a very good fleet. So with that said, let's get into the action and show our first battle up against the Profundity. So you're probably going to see one of a few different reinforcement orders. Reinforcement option number 1, you might see Biggs come out first, or you're probably going to see Phantom come out first. If Phantom comes out first, it might be a little bit trickier, but more or less, as long as you get TIE Bomber to come out, we should be pretty solid. All right. And as you see right there, they went after Scimitar. That's why Scimitar is there, just so they go after Scimitar, not Scythe. Why does it work like that? I don't know, but it's great. Let's go ahead, pop a Foresight, and now the great thing is now they have this special mark mechanic. Anytime a TIE fighter is using abilities that give them Foresight, or when they just get Foresight, you're going to force a mark on them, which is great. So you're basically turning these spawn TIE fighters into tanks, which is fantastic. So the win condition is we need someone to die. Likely Scimitar, but usually either one of these weaker summoned TIE fighters will also die off. So I'm just going to do basic for right now because I don't want Scimitar hiding. I need him dead. I need to free up the real estate so we can call on our reinforcements, because right now we're full. We can't bring anyone in. And boom. It just works out that way. Now we're just basically waiting for our TIE Bomber to come in. So let's go ahead, start keeping more Foresight going so we get the Force mark on us. There we go. So now they have to go after these TIE fighters. Mark, Foresight's gone to hit him. That's fine. That was just a spawn TIE fighter. Now we're bringing in the real guns. Coming in, passively applying burning on that reinforcement. Don't use the burning yet. We already have burning. We don't need to do it 2 times over. Let's just do a basic right now. We got target lock on them, which is great, so we can keep our taunt up. Fantastic. And let's just see what we can do here. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to pop this ability, and we're going to target the Scythe. We need the Scythe to stay around as long as possible. Here we go. Nice hit. We're just trying to get this bomber out. There we go. Rebel Y-Wing bomber is out of the situation. Let's start focusing on Dash Rendar now. Going all in on Dash. They probably got Ghost coming in here in a moment. They're going to get a buff dispel. And just got to watch out for Hans Falcon here. Hans Falcon could be a little bit annoying. There we go. Looks like we're pretty good. And let's get some offense up now. And now we're going to apply the second round of burning. Now that we have all reinforcements out onto the field, let's go get some mark going. Again, trying to give us some cover. We have to get Dash Rendar out fast. He's gone. Offense up formation. TIE Fighter is going to hit hard. The non-spawn version, that is. Now, this is where I kind of struggle. I like to get a little gutsy and go after Millennium Falcon, but sometimes they run away from me and they get the outmaneuver. I'm going to try for it. I like to get bold. I need to keep track of cooldowns. I wish I could see the cooldowns, like so. I wish there was a better way to keep track of cooldowns here. And now what we're going to do is hopefully Palpmobile shows up here in a moment. And now we're going to call on the Palpmobile as our reinforcement. And that's pretty much all I need to beat these profundities. Boom, look at that. Let's go do some burning over there. Unfortunately, didn't get the target lock on him. Let's see if we can try to get this. There we go. Ghost is out. Let's work on Phantom now. Unfortunately, the spawn TIE fighters don't really hit too hard. They're kind of weak in that department. We're going to force a taunt onto the TIE bomber. Throw another round of offense up here. And let's see if we can try to get rid of this ship. Almost there. We got the taunt up. Who do you got? Probably Cassian, I'd have to guess. Yeah, Cassian, but we got our taunt up. We had target lock on him. Let's go ahead and get rid of Phantom. And that was just our spawn TIE fighter, so we're still fine. We still have, basically, so far, we've truly only lost one ship. All right, we have disabled our connection, so let's go for it. We're going to keep pushing. See if this would be the win right there. And that's the win right there. So truthfully, although it looked like we lost, we lost 2 spawn TIE fighters, and we lost Scimitar, we still only lost one ship, which was the Scimitar. I feel like I have Profundity fairly locked down now, and that's a pretty useful counter for me because now I have Chimera, Interceptor, and TIE Advance for their own thing. But what I want to do now is go up against 2 different Executor lineups. We have the triple attack, which we're going to do last for a very specific reason. And then we're going to do this one right here, a pretty standard lineup. However, I don't see myself using this counter against Executor because it needs Interceptor, it feels like, for a fast reinforcement. And it needs TIE Bomber. And it needs Scythe, which means if I don't have TIE Bomber, I can't counter Profundity. Because at least when I have TIE Bomber available, I can counter Profundity with Malevolence TIE Bomber or Executrix TIE Bomber. But let's show it nonetheless. This has been the best thing that I've had for decent consistency. And this is where we're going to show Scythe coming in as a reinforcement. But again, we're not going to be able to apply fear because they have tenacity up on this team. So that's the unfortunate situation. We don't get a lot of fear. What we're going to do is we're going to go hit Houndstooth. We're going to get that going. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit that basic. Now we're going to get the dodge off TIE Fighter, which feeds us Terminator. They were forced to swarm on the TIE Bomber because we had target lock, and target lock triggers the taunt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the Scythe, and now we're going to go use that buff dispel, intimidating flyover, and we're going to get tons of formation. Like, look at this. 16 stacks of formation. And remember, with formation, we're going to get 10% offense, potency, and health. All right, we lost our TIE Bomber, unfortunately. It took a lot of firepower. What we're going to do now is we're going to try to blitz our way through this Houndstooth, and with the help of Vader and TIE Fighter, that shouldn't be too bad. Let's go and target ourselves. Remember, with this ability here, we get 50% health and protection up, so we're just going to target our Scythe. We kind of need the Scythe to stick around for right now. And now Vader's going to hit pretty darn hard. Yeah, we're going to get some really good hits, get some buff mini locked in. Nice basic right there. Hopefully Houndstooth maybe dies off with the damage over times there. This is honestly my biggest concern going up against Executor, is Boba Fett is kind of menacing with those contacts, but hopefully you have another buff dispel ready so we can just do that again. Let's get some offense up. The great thing is with the Executrix here, unlike Profundity, we can't gain turn meter. Here we can gain turn meter, which is fantastic. We can like roll some big plays. Look at that, 311,000 damage just to play it safe. I want to get rid of Houndstooth. Look at that, the damage finally coming in. And, you know, if we can get a kill, I don't think it's going to happen. We can get fear then, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So let's go target Vader, get some protection up over here. Yeah, not quite enough. Oh, we did get fear, though. We landed a crit, which means we got fear. And I think that's going to probably... Oh, boy, not enough damage. The summon TIE Fighters do not do enough damage. There we go. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. They probably have IG-88 in that last reinforcement slot. And then let's go ahead. We're going to bring in a reinforcement. We're going to go bring in our Palpmobile. Let's go ahead and fix up our Darth Vader. Get that off us. And now we can start working on this final dude here. I'm going to see if we just do a nice little building block. Yeah, you know what? Let's just... No, there's nothing to buff the spell. I usually don't like to use this unless we need health protection or a nice buff the spell. We have neither of those. Because if you don't dispel a lot of buffs, we're not getting a lot of formation, unfortunately. Likely IG-88 coming in. All right, last reinforcement. And most likely, if this was Grand Arena, let's get some more offense up again. Tons of turn meter pumping through my veins right now. We're just going to keep pushing on this dude over here. And, you know, there's some buffs. Let's go dispel these buffs. Health protection recovery. We got a little bit of formation. There we go. We got through that little cargo ship fella there. And then there you go. Now, problem I have here, this is definitely a much more expensive lineup. It's definitely not as pretty as banners, but it does work. And thirdly, this is honestly the more important fleet to beat. I said this actually in my live stream the other day. The best Grand Arena team right now for defense is this. This gets me consistent defensive holds, and the only way to really one-shot it is either one, you have Profundity, secondly, you do an Executor rematch, or three, someone got really lucky with Negotiator and got a good win on it. So we're gonna still do it just to show you how it goes. Probably more time, maybe we'll find something for this, but again, I don't see myself using Scythe and whatnot up against Executor if it still needs TIE Bomber and Interceptor and Vader, because then that's going to pull away a very important counter. So what I try to do here is we're going to try to ping away at this IG-88 over here. Maybe we can kill it off. Not quite. They're going to come in and we're going to get pounded hard here. But luckily, we're going to bring in that Scythe. With the Scythe, we're going to do a nice buff to spell, get all those buffs off. Look at all that formation right there. Good stuff. Now, here's the problem. We're getting pinned down by massive damage, and this is usually what happens. It's messy, and I don't even think this is a Relic 9 IG-88. If this is a Relic 9 IG-88, it'd be a little bit different. I mean, we're trying to make a comeback now. There we go. We're getting some damage. That's the formation kicking in right there. But man, once the Scythe is gone, we have a lot of uphill battle stuff going through. And now we have Houndstooth coming in here. You're right. TIE Bomber kind of getting ignored right now. Let's just keep pumping some Terminator through our veins here. We need to try to get some big hits on this Houndstooth again. That's formation, but now that the formation's gone, I'm a little bit worried on the damage opportunities. But luckily, we have some backup plans. We're going to bring out Popmobile. We're going to do a buff the spell. Let's fix up our TIE Bomber. Get out Vader. There you go. So it works. It does work. It's just very messy and very expensive. But you guys let me know. Is this something that's interesting for you? I would love to know what your meta is in terms of where you are in Grander. But the peak meta, as I said, is Executor, Triple Attacker, Profundity, and some other third tier fleet. All right, real quick, I just want to show why the Scimitar is extremely helpful against Profundity. Let's say you're like, why not just start off a TIE Bomber like we did for the Executor lineup? Well, this is what happens from all the numerous 30, 40 battles I did with the Scythe yesterday. They're going to now go after the Scythe. And he's going to get pounded down and likely have a hard time to survive. Now we can try to do that. Also, the other thing is you need TIE Bomber reinforcement because you get 2 rounds of burning, reinforcement call, and also when you use it a second go-round on his second turn. Yes, we got that going. But it's that opening play that makes us very scary. Scythe is out in the open. Usually he dies. I kind of got lucky here. I'm going to just target myself here. We don't need to do any buff the spells for right now. The Bomber did that for us. And boy, and the problem is Bomber doesn't taunt nearly as much until you get some target lock onto the field here. And they're going for him still. They're going. All right, let's just do a basic over here. All right. And the other problem is I can't call in any reinforcements. The other problem, as I mentioned, is I need to get some reinforcements in here. This is the Biggs variant here, as the first reinforcement. All right, there we go. All right, stay with me, 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 stay with me. Let's go ahead and do a buff the spell. Nicely done. We got to get over here now. Get some turn meter. We're not going to get turn meter, but let's get the offense up at least. Nice basic. Let's get some taunts going. All right, basic. All right, there we go. All right, and now let's see if we can try to maybe work on this Falcon while they're open. Not a lot of damage, but hey, we haven't called in a reinforcement yet. All right, they're bringing that out. So this one, Biggs comes out, the reinforcements get a little wonky, but sometimes Biggs as a first reinforcement is pretty good. All right, now we can finally call in a reinforcement. Let's bring out that Popmobile. Probably not a huge need to bring out Scimitar. Let's go fix up our Scythe. You know, let's just work on, let's see if we can go on Hera right now. Can we try to finish off Hera? There we go. Hera's out of the picture. There we go. We got a hit there. Get a hit there. All right, so far, you know, this is looking good. But again, I don't want to sell this as this is always going to work without the Scimitar. It can work. I've beaten Profundity many, many times without the Scimitar. The Scimitar adds consistency because I know they're going to go for Scimitar and they're not a needed ship. You can beat Profundity without Scimitar. I want to make sure I clarify that one more time. Scimitar adds a degree of consistency that makes me really like the fleet all of a sudden. That's why I recommend it, and hopefully that makes sense. But as I showed you, it's not impossible to beat it without Scimitar. The consistency is what truly matters here. Let's see if I probably should have went after Falcon there. Let's see if we can go after Falcon. And that's it. All right, just one more battle that I want to show. Just Scimitar one more time. Again, Scimitar adds consistency that I don't think you're going to see in most videos out there that aren't doing a 30-40 battle live stream, and you see that there is something inconsistent when you don't have Scimitar, because if you can't get anyone out, you can't call in any reinforcements. So it's kind of a weird loss condition. They're going to go after that. That's fine. And let's see if we can just do... You know what? I'm just going to keep doing basics. I kind of want Scimitar to be targeted here. We're going to do the AoE. Let's do our normal routine here. And they're hopefully going to get him out. Free real estate. When I lose one ship, whether a spawn TIE fighter or Scimitar, I know I'm going to win. Let's go ahead, do a buff the spell now. Great. Look at all that formation we're getting. And let's just keep pounding away at this ship over here. There we go. Keep working, keep working, keep working. All right, we got Biggs coming in as the reinforcement. Even if that spawn TIE fighter dies, it's not the end of the world, because we don't need them. We don't lose banners off the TIE fighters that are spawnable. All right, let's call in that reinforcement. Once you got the real estate to call in TIE Bomber, just know you basically won the match. That's literally how it feels every single time I do this. Oh, we might get Fierce. So if we can defeat this enemy, we're going to apply Fierce. Let's do this. You know what? Let's fix up this TIE fighter here. And look at that. We got Fear on the Falcon and Fear on Biggs. Great play. Sometimes you can get that Fear to apply. That one's a lot more consistent if you can get the kill on that ability right there. Good play. Good play. Now that the Fear really just shuts them down. Now we're going to do our offense up. I love this play. Offense up, leading into a TIE Bomber mayhem play here. Watch this. So we're going to get TIE Bomber in here. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see, you know what? Oh, we're going to get rid of Falcon here. Yeah. The TIE fighter you bring in hits a lot harder than the spawn TIE fighters. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So it beats Profundity. That much I can feel very confident about without the need of Vader Interceptor. So we have a Chimera leftover fleet, which is great. It can beat Executor. It's a lot trickier than Profundity, I think. A little bit less consistent, I feel like. And it's the more important thing is it's a very expensive fleet with Interceptor, Vader, Scythe, and Bomber. It's way too expensive for a fleet that we relatively have a decent finalizer counter. If we can maybe beat Profundity without the TIE Bomber, then I'll probably be a bit more on board with that. It's really the thing. I need TIE Bomber for Malevolence or Executrix to beat Profundity. And that's going to wrap it up today, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved Kyber Empire. Let me know your thoughts down below on the site. Leave that like, and make sure you're a part of our ever-growing empire. And always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today. Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.